Dobry wieczór Państwu. Długo zastanawiałem się nad tym, w jaki sposób mógłbym Państwa muzycznie przywitać w naszym mieście i wpadłem na pomysł dzisiaj, że najlepszym rozwiązaniem będzie, jeżeli przywitam Państwa tymi fragmentami. Otóż najpiękniejszą piosenką o Tomaszowie Mazowieckim i jedną z najpiękniejszych piosenek o jesieni. I witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie i wszystkim gościom. Dziękuję, że znaleźliście czas, żeby wpaść na dzień. Mam nadzieję, że nie na dzień, ale na 2, może na 3 do Tomaszowa Mazowieckiego. Bo jeśli ktoś ma wątpliwości, to właśnie o Tomaszów Mazowiecki chodziło w tej piosence i Julianowi Tuwimowi i Ewie Demarczyk, która ją śpiewała. Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie. Proszę Państwa, spotkaliśmy się już po raz drugi, ale to spotkanie nie mogłoby dojść do skutku, gdyby nie to, że pojawili się 2 lata temu 3 muszkieterowie, 3 wspaniali ludzie, którzy przyszli do mnie, do Urzędu Miasta i przedstawili swój pomysł. I mam nadzieję, że nie będziecie Państwo mi mieli tego za złe, że w sposób szczególny ich przywitam. Chciałbym serdecznie przywitać winowajców tego zdarzenia, a raczej prekursorów festiwalów jazzowych w Tomaszowie Mazowieckim. Witam pana Krzysztofa Balkiewicza. Tam jest, tak. Wojciech Lubczyński, tomaszowianin, jazzman, który naprawdę dużo robi dla tej muzyki. Oraz ksiądz Edward Wieczorek. To ta trójka 2 lata temu, właściwie 3 lata temu, bo musieliśmy przecież pierwszą edycję również przygotować. Dziękuję Wam za to, że możemy po raz kolejny się spotkać. Proszę Państwa, czuję się w obowiązku podziękować tym, dzięki którym spotkaliśmy się podczas 2. edycji festiwalu. Serdecznie dziękuję Narodowemu Centrum Kultury oraz Tomaszowskiemu Centrum Kultury. Brawa się jak najbardziej należą. Ogólnie dziękuję wszystkim organizatorom, sponsorom i dobroczyńcom dzisiejszego, jutrzejszego i niedzielnego koncertu. Proszę Państwa, przed wejściem na scenę po próbie Anny Marii Jopek, spotykając ją, powiedziałem: Pani Aniu, bardzo przepraszam Panią za to, że musimy spotkać się w takiej sali. Na co Pani Ania mi odpowiedziała w ten sposób: Panie Prezydencie, to nie ma najmniejszego znaczenia, bo tutaj najważniejsza jest muzyka i najważniejsza jest publiczność. W związku z tym, proszę Państwa, ja nie będę Państwa przepraszał za to, że znajdujemy się w takim miejscu, bo wiem, że jesteście wspaniałą publicznością i po prostu mogę Wam tylko polecić i przesłać w te przepiękne aranżacje, w te przepiękne dźwięki, rytmy, melodii, które za chwilę udziałem doskonałych artystów i tych dzisiejszych, i tych jutrzejszych, i tych niedzielnych będziemy mogli wysłuchać. Życzę Państwu niezapomnianych wrażeń i mam nadzieję, że również spotkamy się w tym miejscu za rok. Dziękuję bardzo. O prowadzenie koncertu poproszę Kamila i Elę.
Szanowni Państwo, to już 2. edycja Polish Jazz Festiwal. Festiwalu, który od pierwszej odsłony wzbudził ogromne zainteresowanie nie tylko w naszym mieście. Głównymi organizatorami wydarzenia są Narodowe Centrum Kultury, Miejskie Centrum Kultury w Tomaszowie Mazowieckim oraz Fundacja TM Innowacje.
Na początku chcieliśmy serdecznie podziękować patronom i sponsorom, dzięki którym mogliśmy zorganizować tegoroczny festiwal. A są to
Miejskie Centrum Kultury w Tomaszowie Mazowieckim, Narodowe Centrum Kultury, Fundacja TM Innowacje.
Współorganizatorzy to Urząd Miasta w Tomaszowie Mazowieckim, Starostwo Powiatowe w Tomaszowie Mazowieckim, Zespół Szkół Ponadgimnazjalnych nr 2 imienia Stanisława Staszica.
Partnerami zaś są Zarząd Dróg i Utrzymania Miasta, Stowarzyszenie Opieki nad Spuścizną Krzysztofa Komedy, Sanktuarium Świętego Antoniego, OSP Tomaszów Mazowiecki i Nagórzyce, Grupa Medyczna OSP Białobrzegi, Fotoatelier Agnieszka i Konrad Kierebińscy, Pierwsze Liceum Ogólnokształcące, Kumart.
Sponsorami są PKN Orlen, Galeria Tomaszów, Ceramika Paradyż, Global Quantum, Helios, Hotel Mazowiecki, Eurobox, FM Logistic, Rosa But, Numet, Fines Operator Bankowy, Zajazd Plan, Grabex, Schweppes, M3 Media, Maltom, PepsiCo, Dekorator, Maximus Broker, Cukiernia Birski, Karoń Lattero.
Patronat medialny objęli Jazz Forum, TVP 3 Łódź, Nasz Tomaszów, Telewizja Amazing, Radio Fama, TV Tomaszów oraz Dziennik Łódzki. Patronat nad festiwalem objął prezydent naszego miasta, pan Marcin Witko.
Ulf Johansson Werre jest jednym z najwybitniejszych szwedzkich muzyków jazzowych. Znany jest z wszechstronności, z równą swobodą gra na instrumentach klawiszowych i puzonie. Jest także uznanym wokalistą jazzowym i kompozytorem. Ciekawostka jest taka, że Ulf Johansson Werre studiował medycynę i pierwotnie zamierzał zostać lekarzem. Jednak miłość do muzyki zwyciężyła. W swojej karierze współpracował z wielkimi świata jazzu, m.in. z Melem Lewisem, Buddy DeFranco i Joe Newmanem.
Obecnie jest liderem Big Bandu Uniwersytetu w Uppsala i odpowiada za program studiów muzycznych. W pierwszym dniu Love Polish Jazz Festiwal nasza gwiazda przedstawi autorski program przygotowany specjalnie na nasz festiwal. Pierwszy temat z pewnością wszyscy rozpoznają. Tytułu nie będę zdradzał, ale dla ułatwienia dodam, że ma ścisły związek z naszym miastem i z Julianem Tuwimem.
Dodam również, że w pierwszym utworze będzie panu Ulfowi towarzyszył Goran Larsen. Zanim rozpoczniemy, szanowni państwo, zwracam się z uprzejmą prośbą o wyciszenie bądź wyłączenie telefonów komórkowych. Jednocześnie zwracam się z gorącą prośbą o niewykonywanie zdjęć podczas pierwszego utworu. To jest bardzo ważna informacja od organizatorów. Dziękuję.
A teraz już serdecznie zapraszamy.
Brawa.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Dzień dobry. Dziękuję. Dobre piwy. Is it, excuse me, but is it okay if I speak English? If I try to speak Polish, you won't understand. And if I try to speak Swedish, which I know, you absolutely won't understand. So, is English fine? Okay? Thank you. Dziękuję. I am Ulf Johansson Werre, and I live in Uppsala, Sweden, and it's a big honor for me to be able to be guest on your festival here. I'm very happy, and in just one day we have made such good friends here. And thanks to Goran, who played the tenor saxophone now, I'm invited to this town and to this concert, and I'm very happy about that. So we have some time to spend together tonight, and solo piano, well, it can be 1 hour of just ballads, but I would like to take you on a different journey. I would like to take you on a journey to the history, the magic moments of jazz piano history. So I'm going to do a little bit of early styles of piano playing and mix it with newer styles of piano playing, some own compositions, and I hope that at least if you have one piece that you really liked, I'm very happy. If you like them all, I will be on my top of the toes when I go from here. So, very welcome, thank you, and we will start out with some Duke Ellington. Welcome. The name of this tune is actually I'm Beginning to See the Light, but it's so, when I came up on the stage, it was so light here, so it could be called I'm Beginning to See in Spite of the Light. And you look very nice from here. I can't see anybody, but I just recently noticed you're very beautiful here. Thank you. That was a little bit. Duke Ellington. Now, this is a style of Duke Ellington music, maybe from the 40s or something. We'll go back to the early days of jazz piano playing. And it all began with the ragtime in combination with the blues. So you had ragtime composers like Scott Joplin, and he wrote exact the way it should be played. It was not improvised from beginning, but then it came down to New Orleans and eventually to New York, and these had very strong ragtime traditions. Even New York started to have ragtime very early, and one of the kings of the ragtime school there was named James P. Johnson, James Price Johnson. And he created tunes that were extremely technical and very nice harmonically. So it's like a developed kind of ragtime school. And I would like to play for you one of his compositions. Actually, this one is the first composition of jazz that Fats Waller played. He learned it by checking out a self-playing piano with the rolls of James P. Johnson. Is it okay with the English? Okay, thank you. So here comes Carolina Shout. And you don't hear this very often on radio, at least not in Sweden. So it's nice to be able to show this style live. By the way, Fats Waller, the great entertainer and piano player and vocalist, he had in his contract during the 30s that during the first set, he should have 1 liter of gin and 6 pork chops. And then he had a break, and in the next set, he would have the same amount again. I tried half of it, and it's not possible to play anymore, so I drink water. flash out. Now, when it comes down to improvisation, it has always been improvisation in music, and it's not only in jazz and rock and blues. Improvisation started out from beginning, and the great masters of composing and piano playing, like Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Liszt, they all could play freely, but they had to write down certain notes in order for people to be able to play it afterwards. And I would like to do a piece from Johann Sebastian Bach that actually from beginning is a flute solo with piano accompaniment. And I can't play the flute, and even if I could do that, it's not possible to do it at the same time, so I play piano. So I have transcribed it to another instrument, namely whistling. And this is a great piece, and I will try to improvise a little bit in that Baroque style. Here is Badineri. Thank you, Badineri. Now, I said something that ragtime and blues was coming together during the late 1800s. And in the 1920s, the blues came back in a new form, sort of ragtimized form, a very rhythmic type of blues that had a bass lines that onomatopoetically were called boogie-woogie because they sounded like that. So I will give you an example of the early boogie-woogie playing, and this is freely translated. It's a piece from Meade Lux Lewis and Albert Ammons, which supposedly is a train starting out from New Orleans and then going up to St. Louis, and you can hear how it starts and how it gets going and the polyrhythmic effects between the train and the rail and so on, and then it eventually stops in St. Louis. This is Honky Tonky Train Blues. Thank you. Thank you very much. Honky Tonk Crane Boogie. Now we'll move up a little bit. I would like to play a beautiful ballad for you. This is a later form of composition in jazz. This one is called Alone Together. And well, it's a little bit how I feel, right? I'm alone here, but together with you in a way, and that makes me feel warm and welcome. Alone Together. Now I will go to fairly, well, it's it's an own composition. I made it for a long time since, but it's actually from the 90s or something like that. This is an honor of the Swedish mountains, and we have a mountain chain in Sweden called Sarek. And I love to walk in the mountains and ski and so on. So this is it's like a gospel feeling when you come out in the nature like that. So this one is a gospel-like thing, and it's called Song of Sarek. And I would like to play that for you now. Thank you. Dziękuję. Yesterday we had a wonderful concert on quartet, Goran and I, and Wojtek on drums and Jarek on bass. And we were in the church, and thanks to Reverend Edward, we were able to have a good time before, during, and after the concert. We're very grateful for that. I had prepared a piece which actually from beginning was thought upon as a piano trio thing, but I will do this one for you. And when we think about Polish music, you have a very rich musical life, and you had it for several hundreds of years. And I'm particularly fond of Frédéric Chopin, who is born here in Poland, and I have prepared, and I'm going to work a little bit differently on a mazurka that he has composed. This is Opus 6, and I will state a little bit of the beginning of the mazurka as Chopin wrote it, and then I will do my own variation of this one. So mazurka number 6. Yeah, thank you for giving me applause ahead, because it's a hard one, so you never know how it goes afterwards. But this is fine. Thank you. Thank you. Now we go back to Duke Ellington, and this is a typical big band piece. I'm a little bit stupid to try to play it on piano because the sounds are so versatile, and all the sections are blowing like maniacs on this tune. But nevertheless, it's a great tune, and this is about, you can see the caravan of camels slowly passing Sahara or something like that. This is a typical Duke Ellington thing where he actually wanted to give us a picture of a geographic region with its culture. But now the name of the tune is Caravan, and the interesting thing is that actually Duke Ellington didn't write it. It was his a valve trombone player, Juan Tizol was his name, and he played with Ellington's band. But Ellington put both their names to get royalties, and you can say that, oh, he was cheating the guys out of money, but actually he was paying them a monthly salary even if they didn't have any job. So this was the way he could reassure that they have fundings for people. So this is my version of Caravan. Dziękuję. Thank you very much. It has been a great pleasure for me to play for you. And I would like to close up with another piece that I wrote myself. One of my absolute favorite piano players is still, but he's not around anymore, unfortunately. But that was Oscar Peterson. So I wrote a piece in a little bit in his style called For OP Fans. Now, for you it's Oscar Peterson, but for us Swedes, I don't know if you have a Swedish schnapps that started to be distilled about 100 years ago in Gothenburg in Swedish. It's called O.P. Anderson. And so for OP fans, it's actually a double bottom thing. It's partly because it's nice to have a little schnapps every now and then, and it goes very well together with Oscar Peterson. So I would close up this set with For OP Fans. Thank you for joining me this hour, and hope that you have a great festival the whole weekend. Thank you. I could also tell you that on this black, well, it's not really a table, it's a big electronic device in some respect. But Goran, my friend, he will have some records for sale here, and I have one solo piano record. It's volume 2. Volume 1 is sold out, but volume 2 will be here, and also a very new quintet record with a good friend of mine and our sons. It's a little bit in the style of Stan Getz, J.J. Johnson, Oscar Peterson, you can say. So, and these, normally we charge 60 zloty, well, in the same currency, but in Swedish. But we sell them out here for you, especially for 30 zloty, so they will be here. And I think that Goran might have some of his own records there, together with the Polish musicians from Gdansk. Some of them really are here tonight. For OP fans, thank you. Dziękuję. Thank you so much. What you have so wonderful women here in Poland. I mean, you bring up two, and they are two of the most beautiful women you ever have seen. And we are supposed to have very beautiful women in Sweden, but this sort of makes a difference in the outcomes of the future. Very nice. I hope, well, I can see that this is flowers, beautiful flowers, and I hope that this is something that is flowery, but maybe more for the inside. Thank you.